Well, good morning and welcome to the very first edition of She's Got More. I am your host, Michele L, also known as More Michele, and I am here with Alexia, who is a visual voice stylist, and we are going to talk a bit this morning about how it is Alexia embodies her more and her life purpose. This is an interview series all about leading women on purpose. So I would like to welcome Alexia to the show and say thank you for participating very much. And my first question for you, Alexia, is can you tell us, a bit about what it is you do? You call yourself a visual voice stylist. Can you give us an idea of what that entails?
I would love to, and thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here and to share with all of you. Yes, I get this question quite a bit. What exactly is a visual voice stylist? So what I do is I coach women entrepreneurs on how to translate their values through their online presence. A little bit more of a definition, it is all about visual content and storytelling. So I take a woman's online business and show her how to paint this amazing picture, a painting, a visual story online, so that her ideal clients can find her, see her, and even more so her clients want to be part of that picture that she's painted. So that's a little bit about what I do. I have 4 signature ways that I work in how to paint the picture. I do it through photos and photo shoots. I do it with video, images and posts, and with personal appearance. So again, taking all the visuals, all of those components, and painting this beautiful picture for a woman's business so that her ideal client can find her easily online.
Well, that sounds like a beautiful thing. Absolutely wonderful. I like the 4 areas that you focus in. You said photos, video, posts, and actual personal appearance, as in the way they present themselves?
Absolutely, yes. I think that it's, showing up visually online, it taps into a lot of visibility issues for women entrepreneurs. And so how we show up visually in our personal appearance is very, very important. How we look on a video, how we look on a Skype appointment, how we look in our day-to-day life. We're hearing so much more about the power of up-leveling our appearance. And there's an amazing article that's circulating now on Facebook about a man who spent, you're going to ask me to quote the number, $100,000 over the course of several years in his wardrobe, and how he turned that into income of almost $700,000. And it's a whole experiment about what he did, how he up-leveled, and how people responded to that. So how we show up in physical appearance is really important in our visual voice, for sure.
Very, very interesting. I actually remember seeing that article that you're talking about.
Yep. Powerful.
Yes, it was very powerful. I enjoyed the way he went into how he talked about how dress hadn't been important to him. And when he began to change the way he dressed and what he spent on clothes, people began to react to him differently. So I find that very interesting that you can get a different reaction from people by the way that you physically present yourself.
No question, no question. I have a background as an image consultant. I spent 20 years teaching women how to dress from head to toe, and I've seen the transformations. I've seen the power in really tapping into the essence of who you are and letting that part come out visually, and it's powerful work, no doubt, no doubt.
Excellent. So you've mentioned that you work with women. Would that be who you say best benefits from your services?
Well, my target market is is women entrepreneurs. I think that men definitely could benefit from this too, but I target women. So my market is women entrepreneurs, yes.
Have you ever worked with a man in the past?
You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I have never worked one-on-one with a man in the past, although men were the ones that always booked me to come and speak to their sales staff or their corporate offices or what have you. So not personally, I have not.
Interesting. The reason I asked the question is I find that women sometimes have a difficult time finding their voice in the world because they have the roles that are dictated to them and the way they are, quote unquote, supposed to appear. And sometimes it's hard to find your own voice when you have all these other people telling you, you need to be this way. You need to, a mother appears this way. A woman in the corporate world appears that way. A daughter appears this way, and that sort of thing. And I think women struggle with that on a larger scale than men do.
I think this is very true. I was speaking about this with someone actually yesterday, and we were talking about visual voice, and we were talking about my signature system. And what I usually find is I have to go back to exactly what you're talking about. I have to do work around visibility and confidence first, because if the message is not clear, if we have no voice, if we're confused, if our sense of self is not crystal clear, then the pieces that I spoke of, photo shoots, videos, images and posts, and personal appearance, will not evolve in the way that they need to, and they will not express the true essence of her until we get to the root of what's blocking her voice from coming out fully. So for sure, there is so much struggle with women now, and online I think it's really kind of forcing us to behave in a certain way. We have to show ourselves in a certain way with this, internet creature that is now dictating how we do business. But the visibility and the confidence and the voice pieces, they're still weak in a lot of women. So absolutely what you said is very on point.
Can you give us an example of your work, someone perhaps that you have worked with, so we could, get an idea of what it is you do for a person?
Absolutely. So one of the things that women online tend to struggle with is the photo shoot. The photo shoot tends to bring up quite a bit of angst, stress, overwhelm, panic, fear, body issues, all of these very, very, it puts a woman in a place of total vulnerability. And one of the things that I see a lot with photos is I see pretty pictures, but I don't see a picture that tells a story. So if a woman is getting ready, for example, let's say she's booked her photo shoot, they are not inexpensive, as most of us know. They are time-consuming. This is a huge part of your visual voice, the photos and the photos that we put out there. It is extremely important that they are rockin' photos. Let's say she's booked it and she comes to me and says, okay, I have no idea what it is that I want these photos to say. I have no idea what I'm supposed to wear. I have no idea where they're supposed to be. I try to empower her as much as possible before the photo shoot with ideas around location, with ideas around what she wears and what she wants to say, by really, really digging into her target market, her ideal client. Again, we want that ideal client to see the photo, and we want the ideal client to say, I want to be in that photo with Alexia. I want to be in that photo with Michele. I see myself there. So we do a tremendous amount of work around the target market. We talk a lot about the demographic, the fears of her target market and her ideal client, what it is that they are looking for, what it is that they're lacking, what it is that they're afraid of, what it is that keeps them up at night. I also do this with the business owner as well, because most of the time we are our ideal client. So I kind of try to dig into her and her emotions. And then I pull out themes that I kind of hear that there might be consistency about. She's looking for freedom. She's looking for fun. She's looking for change. And I might take, themes that I hear, and then we sort of start to explore how that would look visually. I see things in pictures, so when people talk to me, it's just how I see. So I would then give her some suggestions on how in the photos she can represent freedom to her client so that they can see that when they look at the photos. And it's a powerful process. It's a very, very important process for a woman to go through before a photo shoot. Not only does it give her clarity, it helps the photographer stay in their power also in being able to do what it is that they're there to do, and that is to take fabulous pictures. The more that the client, that the entrepreneur can come from an empowered place and say, here's what I want, here's what I'm thinking, here's the direction I want to go into, here's what I want to say, then she can find that photographer and meet them great in a beautiful halfway place. And the photographer can say, great, here's some ideas for you. And it also enables us to have a much higher success rate of loving your photos. I hear a lot of women say, oh, I had photos taken and I don't like them. I'm not using them. I would never post them. And that's really sad to hear. So that's one example of how I would work with a client around the photo shoot.
That is very, very exciting stuff. And I love that you have pointed out that a woman, an entrepreneur, should come to the photo shoot with a grasp of what she wants to get out of it. I think a lot of people go, just book a photographer and assume that the photographer is going to be able to produce for them the idea that the client may have in their head. But you pointed out very rightly, the photographer is there to take good pictures. And while they may have some experience in the branding photo shoot, they need to be able to look to their client for more of a concept of what that client is looking for. So
it's so true. I think it speaks to really being an empowered business owner. And this goes for how to choose the photographer as well. When you have a clear vision of what you want for your business, when you have a clear vision of what you're trying to communicate, and you go to a photographer and they look at you like you have horns on your head, you're going to know this is not the right person for me. This person doesn't get it. So I maybe need to look for someone else. And this goes for everything from the person that does your hair to the person that is helping you with your style and your makeup. The clearer you are, you will then be able to attract those to you that can help you make that vision a reality. The more unclear you are, it's a hit or miss, and we have no idea, and I hear it every day. Well, I didn't know what I was doing, or I wasn't sure, or they cut my hair too long, or it's too short, or it's too this, or I looked horrible, or the makeup artist didn't know what they were doing. Again, the more empowered we are, you will eliminate all of that, and you will just have a much better success rate.
Very, very good. Empowering women.
Totally. Totally.
Now, I understand that you are not only a woman business owner, an entrepreneur, you're also a mother. So I just wanted to explore with you a bit about how your business has benefited your family.
Oh, boy, this is such a powerful question that it is a really great question. So back to what I've spoken to that seems to just be coming out organically today for me. The more that a woman finds her voice, the more that a woman discovers the truth within her, follows her desires, is clear on who she is and what she's here for and her purpose and her values and her passions, the more she sets an example for her family. In my case, I have 3 daughters. I have a 17, a 15, and a 9-year-old daughter. And the more that I step into that myself, the more that they are then able to see what that looks like and what is possible for them. So I think that while building a business is a great thing for them to see, so they've been able to see me build a business, they've been able to see me bring in income, they've been able to see me have fun and travel and expand. I truly believe that the greatest gift that I have been able to give them is just being able to see me be fully who I am, unapologetically, with grace, with this just fervor for getting out there and being who I am and going for it no matter what. That has probably been the one thing that I have seen resonate with them the most. They then start dreaming bigger. They then start to look at their lives and the possibilities for them in a different way. So for me, it has benefited my girls the most just to have the role model of possibility, infinite possibility in front of them, that there are no boundaries, there are no limits. Whatever they want, whatever they desire, it can be so. That for me has been probably the biggest benefit and gift that I could probably give my girls.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I think that it is a lesson a lot of girls need to hear. So it's wonderful that you can be that role model for your girls. So I've had the privilege of reading your fingerprints. And first I want to thank you for sharing your beautiful prints for me and with me. And I wanted to talk a bit about your fingerprints and what they say about your life purpose in this world. That's the cornerstone of my work is hand analysis and reading the fingerprints and discovering a person's soul mission, what it is that they are here to do in the world. And while some people have just one purpose, meaning they'll have a high-ranking fingerprint on one finger, you actually have a purpose that is many-fold. Your purpose is on 3 fingers as opposed to just one. And it is your right thumb, your right, what I call Jupiter finger, which is your pointer finger, and your right ring finger. Thumb is the engine of the hand. It is all about doing and success, especially on the right hand. The pointer finger is about being a leader in the world, and the ring finger is about artistry. So you have success, leadership, and artistry all as part of your life purpose. The founder of Hand Analysis has made some archetypes for combinations of fingerprints based on what he has seen in the people he's seen with these particular combinations. Success and leadership combine to be a big shot. Someone who is successful in business or successful in being a leader in the world. And when you add the artistry into there, you get what Richard Unger calls a prima donna, which is a person who is a high achiever in the spotlight. And the big life goal, the big purpose of prima donna, a high achiever in the spotlight, is to find the appropriate stage for your your talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a major part of your life purpose. You also have a high-ranking fingerprint on your left Mercury. Mercury is all about communication, and left Mercury is a healer. So that makes your life purpose to be a prima donna and a healer, which is success, leadership, artistry, and healing. And that artistry has to be in the spotlight. So I wanted to ask you, do you see this purpose at work in your life, and how do you see that purpose at work in your life?
Well, I'm so glad that you kind of summed that up for me. That's pretty powerful. So, for sure, yes, for sure. I have. It's interesting when you speak about the artistry piece and the stage, and I think that has been something that I've looked for a long time, is what is the stage? Where am I supposed to be? Where am I supposed to take these qualities about me, and what is the stage? Where is the forum for me to express all of these qualities that I have? No question about the leadership piece. No question about the success piece. And no question about the healing piece as well. I think that coaching for me is the forum. It is the stage. It is the place in which all of these qualities can beautifully kind of dance around together. I was telling somebody recently that I don't know that I've ever in my entire life felt so aligned with my creative energy as I feel right now as a visual voice stylist. It taps into the depths of my creativity. It taps into such a truth about me. And over the years, pieces of it have come out, but I've never kind of felt like everything was working together. But for the first time as a coach, the stage is here. The stage is here. So I see what you described in my life, in my business. It's totally, again, it's completely on point for me, most definitely.
Wonderful. I love that you said that you have seen bits of your purpose, and you've been you've been feeling that call for a stage. It's like you felt like you almost had it, but you weren't quite there. And
yes.
And now you're really settling into that. I know that you've gone through some training to be a divine living coach this year, and would you say that, it's part of that training has helped you to step into and find that spotlight, that stage that you felt you needed but you couldn't quite find?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. It's interesting, when I first started on the journey towards becoming a divine living coach, I didn't even think that I was it wasn't becoming a coach. I didn't quite see that. I began the journey for self-improvement, truly, and to be amongst a community of like-minded women from all over the world. And so as I sort of started getting into it, and this stage appeared through building a coaching business, it was, it feels like I'm home. It feels, there's no question that this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's so interesting, Michele, that you're bringing this word stage up, because one of my goals is to, and I've had this goal for a long time, something draws me to acting. And somebody asked me, do you see yourself acting on TV? And I said, no, I see myself on a stage. And she said, interesting, like in a play? And I said, I don't know. I guess, like a play, but I do see stage. So, again, I think that, yes, the coaching and all of this has brought me to this place where everything is working together, and it is a glorious feeling for sure.
Richard Unger calls your purpose and embodying your purpose, living your right life, the life that you were created, that your soul is here to live. And I can hear it in your voice, and if you could see me, I've got this big smile on my face because I just have this feeling that, you know, where you are and where you're going is embodying that quote-unquote right life for you. And that is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, it is. It's what it's what a lot of us search for. It's what a lot of us search for and spend our time looking for. And I've looked for it for a long time. This didn't come, this has been since I was in my 20s probably, and a long time looking and digging and piece by piece. And when you get there, it's a great feeling. That's for sure.
Wonderful. As you mentioned the stage, I kind of get the feeling that, maybe speaking from the stage is where your spotlight is supposed to be.
Very much so. That too. Yes, very much so. Actually, I'm very comfortable speaking from the stage. So yes, that as well, for sure. I've had visions of a lot of stages. I see myself sometimes at a podium, sometimes with a microphone. So we will see how this all plays itself out, and it will play itself out. There's no doubt about that.
I believe that wholly and completely.
Mm-hmm.
I see you up there with one of those headsets, no microphones and none, just one of those little headsets where you got your own in that stage.
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's exciting. So exciting.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, along with life purpose, there comes life lesson. And life lesson is the lowest ranking fingerprints on your fingers. You actually have two life lessons, one of which is your left, I'm going to say Saturn, but that's your middle finger. And that encompasses the feelings of self-doubt. And the other is your right Mercury, which is being mute. Self-doubt is the challenge of being who you are in the world without having to feel like you need to apologize for it or question it. And the master path of being mute is, it can come with a desire or issues with self-promotion, getting out there and talking about yourself and saying what it is that you really want. And I was wondering, along your journey to where you are with your purpose today, have you come up upon these lessons? And in what way did you come upon them? And how have you moved past them?
Well, seriously, Michelle, of course I have. Yes, like I'm looking at this thinking, well, I could talk for 3 hours on this topic. Self-doubt. Self-doubt loves women. We seem to love it, and it seems to love us, and we're really good at it. I think any time I've found myself stretching, wanting to go forward, reaching for the goals, pushing for the desires, giving myself permission to, as you say, be, unapologetically, completely, authentically myself, the self-doubt can kick in. Well, maybe it's not the right time. Well, I call this the drama. This is what I call it for my clients. I say, stay out of the drama. But the drama is all of the spin, all of the talk, all of the junk and the crap that we feed ourselves. And it can hold us back. It really can hold us back. I think that for me, being aware of it, working with a coach, doing the self-work, doing the work on myself and acknowledging and digging and why do I think that and what's going on and what's bringing this up, where's this coming from? Because as we know, as coaches, it's a lie. It's all lies. It's not true. But we believe it and we wear it like a badge. We wear it like a badge of honor. And so I'm working on self-doubt by overpowering it with absolutely non-negotiable yeses in a loud, powerful way. And it seems to push the self-doubt. I can't hear the self-doubt. If I'm yes, yes, loudly all the time, I can't quite hear the self-doubt as much. And so that is really one of my biggest intentions. It's not my number one intention for this year, is to really strengthen my absolutely non-negotiable muscles so that I crush out the self-doubt. The being mute piece speaks back to finding our voice and not being afraid. And it was interesting. I wrote something that I'm doing a video with about my 9-year-old daughter on this piece. She came in from school and she was telling me, she said, I don't like to raise my hand in school. And I said, why don't you like to raise your hand? Well, I don't want to be wrong. I said, well, you're not going to be wrong, and this and that, and it's good to ask questions. And she says, and sometimes people laugh. And it started me thinking, Michele, this starts with us from little girls, right? We're taught, sit in the back of the room so the teacher won't call on you, and don't ever sit in the front because you're the first person that they'll call on, and be careful if you raise your hand. And we try to raise it and we're quite not sure, and what if I'm wrong, and what if they laugh, and what if the teacher makes fun of me, or what if I'm embarrassed, or what if I'm whatever. Again, the drama started with us when we were little girls, and so what did we learn to do? We learned it's safer in the back. It's safer quiet. It's safer not to speak up. It's safer. It's more comfortable if we just kind of stay in ourselves. And that grows and grows and grows and grows. And then we become women entrepreneurs, and we wonder why we have visibility issues. So we have to kind of excavate all of that and realize that there is a safe place for us to have our voice. And being mute is not serving anyone. It's not serving anyone. It's not serving the world. It's not serving us. It's not serving our children. It's not serving anyone. So the more you get in touch with it, again, your true authentic self, the more you will use your voice, the stronger it will get, and the less all of the snickers or comments bother you. You just got to keep moving. And so that's kind of how I've dealt with those two issues in my life. Just kind of doing it anyway and overpowering the self-doubt with the yeses and drowning it out.
I love that at the very beginning there you said a really important thing, and that was that these lessons that come up for you come up when you're stretching. And that's exactly when they're going to come up, is when you are stretching out of your comfort zone. Those lessons are going to, rear up and say, hey, are you sure this is something you want to do? And you handle them beautifully. You make your yes a real, true yes, and you do. You give yourself permission to speak out for who and how you are in the world.
Yeah, it's so true. When we're safe and quiet in the comfort zone, it's kind of boring there, but it's safe and quiet, and you're not going to hear too much self-doubt in the comfort zone. There's nothing to doubt. There's nothing going on to cause you to doubt. The minute you start to step out of that comfort zone is when these life lessons, at least mine, they start to rear their ugly heads. Be quiet, go back there. It's safer there. Don't push. Where are you going? What are you doing? And, so yes, and it is also a really great lesson in that I know that that's what's happening. So when those things come up, I'm like, well, I must be heading in a good direction because they're speaking to me again. So let me just keep exploring this way and see what's down this road. And again, staying true to your desires, you won't go wrong. It doesn't steer you wrong.
Very good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Another thing you mentioned was that you work with a coach. Even though you are a coach, you work with a coach?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. I think that every woman deserves a coach. Every woman deserves support in a non-judgmental format. I tell people all the time, your husband, significant other cannot be your coach. They're tired, they're exhausted, they're trying to get through their own day. Your best friend, well, she's probably in the same situation you're in. She's struggling. She can't do it. Who do we talk to? Who do we go to? Who do we vent to? Who do we, what happens to all of the garbage and the muck and the gunk and the clogged and where is it going? And what I'm finding is with a lot of women, it's going into either excessive eating, excessive drinking, certain medications to kind of calm all of these things, where really and truly, in a limited amount of time, a coach can help you kind of get through that, and we all need it. And you hear this, too, from women as they become more and more successful. They'll have multiple coaches sometimes, a coach to help them with their business, and then one to help them with their finances, and one to help them with their marketing, whatever it is. So for sure the support it's a non-negotiable. For me, it's a non-negotiable to have that support.
I agree wholeheartedly. That support is really important no matter what level you are at.
Sure.
I've been listening to interviews recently with Tony Robbins, and because he's got the new book out, and he mentions, I cannot remember the gentleman's name. I wish I had taken a note on this. A billionaire, great mind in finance, but Tony is his coach, and he talks to Tony every day. They do a check-in absolutely every day, and Tony helps keep him at the top of his game. So no matter where you are at the beginning or at the highest of the highs, you need that person who is outside of your daily structure to help you to grow and continue growing and be at the top of your game.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's up next for you? We're at the end of 2014. We're just about to crack open a whole new year. What can we expect to see from Alexia in 2015?
Well, I have decided to go forward with more coach training, so I will be entering the Divine Living Master's Program for 2015, so that's one huge thing. So fine-tuning my coaching skills, just bringing a much higher level support to my clients and a much higher level training for myself. So I'm thrilled about that. I have a book that I have written for little girls, actually, that is going to be published this year, hopefully in the first part of this year. It's a book on how little girls can find their voice as well, and it's set actually in a Greek mythology setting. So it's quite a little story about an amazing character who is near and dear to my heart. And I'm also going to be starting a visual talk show. I believe it's going to be on Google Hangouts. I'm still trying to find the stage. It was, interestingly enough, going to be a blog talk radio show, and my 17-year-old daughter said, "Mom, you're a visual voice stylist. Radio is not visual." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I can't do that." And she said, "No, you have to do it so it's visual." So I believe that's going to come in the form of a Google Hangout, where I will be interviewing lots of people who have expertise in the visual content arena. So from photographers to makeup artists, hair, stylists, web designers, graphic artists, you name it, anybody in the visual arena, I'm going to be interviewing them for 2015. So those are my three, how many was that? 1, 2, 3 big projects for the year so far. So quite excited to be getting into the new year. Very excited.
Well, that is some exciting stuff. I look forward to the show. I can't wait to see it.
I know. A lot of people are asking me about it. When's it going to start? And I do get a lot of questions, and I thought, this would be just a great format to where I could have somebody, an expert, a photographer to just kind of talk about these things and give women a solid, some great takeaways, some good information that they can kind of run with, and some resources if they want to explore those options further. So, yes, I'm thrilled about it. So excited.
And a book. And a book,
yes.
That's something I didn't know about you.
Yes, the book, it's interesting. It helps me to focus. I just have such a passion for getting to our younger girls. It's taken me, I'm 49 years old, it's taken me 49 years, well, not the entire time, 30 years, 25 years, to really get to this point. And I think that the teachings now for the generation coming up can be different. The old way of doing things is kind of been there, done that. We don't need to teach our girls the same things about money that we were taught and about possibilities that we were taught. And I want young girls to find their voices a lot earlier. And so this book speaks to all of that, and it's going to have a very adult message as well. And I even see it as a series. I think that it will be a series of books that come out. So, yes, a lot of fun. The character is awesome. I think little girls are going to adore her. And I actually had an artist to do a rendering of her. She's done it for me in pastels, and just something that I can set beside my computer and look at this year so I can see her. And it was really important that I see her visually. And so that's very exciting as well.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So where can we find you if we want to work with you as a visual voice stylist? Where can we find you?
So right now, I'm going to give you my website. This will be changing first of the year, but I will go ahead and give it to you now. You will go to www.alexia, Alexia, and then my last name, Katevenidis, KATEVENIDIS.com. And you can also hop on over to the Visual Voice Talk Show on Facebook. You can request to be added into my Facebook group, which is another wonderful resource for tips and strategies, conversation, all about visual content. So I'd love to have you over there as well.
That is terrific. Okay. Well,
yes.
Thank you for the details on how to get in touch with you, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us about how to get started in creating your visual voice and how you can help us with that. Do you have any closing comments, anything that you would like to share with the audience?
I think this has been amazing, and I just thank you so much for having me today. I just want to let people know that visual content is really important, and we sometimes forget the power of the visual, the power of the picture, the power of the image can really speak volumes. Sometimes when we don't know what to say, the picture can say it for us. So take a notice of the visuals around you in your life. What impacts you? What do you see? What kind of graphics catch your eye? What colors catch your eye? Is there a T-shirt that you see and has a cool logo? What is it about that really that speaks to you? The images are everywhere, and I do this with myself all the time, and I kind of study those visuals and have fun with it. It's an amazing, amazing area. It's a fun area. And I look forward to talking to anybody more about that if they feel so called to talk to me. So, again, thank you so much.
And thank you. Thank you.